Bryant. Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
Good morning, and welcome to Winning on Wednesday. That's right. It's 9 a.m. Central. That means we are live here in Austin, Texas, right here at Syndicate headquarters. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are always great to have you guys. And wow, does our stuff look so much better. You guys aren't even seeing what I'm seeing. Joe did me a huge favor, and he made the screen in front of us really big so that I can actually see it. I don't even necessarily need these today, probably, except maybe to read this stuff down here.
Went from a laptop screen that was far away to a 32-inch, like right in front of our faces.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So great improvement. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I can see how insane I look. Also, we changed up some lighting that you might noticed. Joe had some folks come in yesterday doing some professional headshots with his crew. And she came in and looked at our lighting. Was like, your lighting's trash, bro. I'm gonna fix it. And she fixed up some of the lighting, made it look a lot better. So
yeah, shout out to Jim. She was awesome. She came through, and we had a photo shoot yesterday, which was hilarious because we were all in here wearing suits because we had a professional. So there's professional, but then personality. So everybody's like, "Where's the jerseys, Joe?" Because they saw my pictures yesterday. I had my personality ones. Don't worry, I had my D-Wade Miami Knights Heat jersey that I was rocking, and got some. Even got some action shots of me spinning the ball and throwing the ball in the air. So I was rocking the jersey just like I am today. I was actually going to wear this one, but we were shooting it on a white wall. So I would have just looked like the wall with how white I am, especially wearing a white shirt. So did not work out. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is having an amazing start to your week. Happy Winning on Wednesday. It is the peak of the week. We got an amazing show for y'all. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. If you are tuning in from the Insurance Syndicate, make sure and click on the link in the description above just to make sure we can get you up on the comments sections. I see you. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Nancy. I see you in there. Travis Welch was the first to comment. Love you, brother. Good to see you on here. And real quick, before we get into our weekly wins, y'all go ahead and start dropping your weekly wins in the comments. Miss Lily will get those up on the screen. But speaking of Miss Lily, shout out to Viva Virtual Solutions. We're actually going to talk a little bit about them today on our training.
Yes, we are.
But shout out to Viva and Rob Lopez. We appreciate y'all. They are the main sponsor of Winning on Wednesday here within the Syndicate, and just really every place that we're posting these podcasts. So shout out to Rob. Thank you. Appreciate you, Viva Virtual Solutions. If you guys are in need of any type of virtual assistant solutions, hit them up because they're freaking awesome. We use a bunch of them. And again, shout out to Lily, who's our producer behind the scenes. We appreciate you. And I guess, that's a quick weekly win. Lily, why don't you should comment your weekly win, but Lily just sent us a screenshot before we went live. We're actually getting ready to be able to monetize the YouTube channel after our watch hours and stuff like that and views. Yeah, I guess use that. There we go. Using our buttons. But appreciate you, Lily. And that's a huge weekly win. We've been trying to ramp a lot up on the YouTube side of things. So thank you so much for your help on that. But with that being said, Mr. Merwin, what's your weekly win, brother?
Dude, my weekly win is an easy one. It is sponsorships. And not because we're getting a bunch of them here, but our friends over at MetaZeus, if you remember, MetaZeus sponsors our Tuesday show, but they jumped up and said, hey, this Invictus thing that you're putting together is amazing, and we want to support it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy 100 tickets.
Right on.
And you can just give them out to agents and just give us the sponsorship. We want our brand out there. We want to make sure that this house is packed. And it's definitely headed that way.
Sick.
But I thought that was super cool, man. Thank you, Evan McGuffey. That was huge. Cut us a nice big fat check and said, here's 100 tickets. Give them out. Get people in the room. They need to hear this information. So super, super awesome
I was
of
about to-
someone to do that, and I'm very appreciative, and that is a big win.
About to say that's about to be a weekly win for whoever gets one of those 100 tickets, y'all. You guys
Absolutely.
need to be in that room if you are bilingual or running a Spanish speaking agency. And it doesn't matter whether it's obviously you guys know Tony's in the Medicare space. They've got Medicare, life, health, property, and casualty. So again, if you're running a
Annuity,
bilingual
cash flow management, like
And-
all kinds of good stuff.
you guys need to be there. Check it out. It's Invictus Conference. Obviously, reach out to Tony and his lovely wife, Grace, if you guys have any questions, and they'll definitely make sure and get you. Well, shoot, you got a free ticket. So if you want to go, just freaking hit up Tony. You get, get a free ticket. Shout out to Evan. Man, my weekly win, you know me, I've got to give like 2 or 3. Because last week was action-packed after our winning on Wednesday. So had an awesome time at the golf tournament, the Austin Association of Insurance Professionals at Top Golf. That was shout out to Rob McCarthy. Thank you for the invite there. We went and represented the RPS team. If you guys are in the PNC space, check them out on the ENS side of things. But that was awesome, man. Got to connect with a bunch of people. I actually met with an underwriter who this guy got on a call, and he's like, bro, I met this guy at this bar, and he was just a perfect fit for insurance. And I told him about it. And this Gilbert guy, he was a premium finance guy. Just gave the guy my contact info, and I forgot who it was because I get so many messages. So we get on a call a couple days ago, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, man. This guy just like put us in a group chat and said like insurance, but he's going to get licensed. So that was pretty cool. But that was an awesome event. I'm actually looking at getting on the board with the Austin Association of Insurance Professionals. It's like a mouthful like NABIP is.
Yeah.
And then we had our agent hangout this past Friday. So we relaunched the agent hangout. That was awesome. Shout out to Eric Hamadi, man. He's one of my favorite freaking people. I love anytime I get to spend time with him as well as everybody else that showed up. So Agent Hangout is back. If you are in the Texas area or coming to visit the Texas area, we are running these networking events typically the second Friday of every month. So just once a month, free networking events. Come hang out, come kick it. And then obviously my last weekly win, I had softball last night. And
did you actually make contact with the ball this time?
I did every single time.
Oh, every time.
And I actually hit a double to win the game last night to end it out. So I'll take it. It's the weights and everything are definitely working a little bit. I'm hitting the ball a little bit harder, a little bit faster, and it's just fun. It was a little rough though as the late game. But that is my weekly win. So guys, go ahead and drop yours in the comments. We want to be able to celebrate you. Lily, if you see those come through, get those up on the screen. We appreciate y'all. And so today, guys, we're going to get into something I've trained on this before. And it's something that has been recently brought, I don't know what it is. It's trending right now again for people wanting to kind of get into the Facebook group space and create groups and what types of groups and how do I join groups and do this, and this. So we're actually going to talk about today. And this is something I kind of scripted up, and it's how to start, grow, and manage a Facebook group. Obviously, if you're watching within the insurance syndicate, we've got almost 8,000 members in there. You guys can see we're running Facebook groups. Anybody that knows anything about me, not only do I run or I'm an admin or moderator of, I think 12 or 13 groups now, but I'm a part of 274 Facebook groups. So I'm a big advocate of Facebook groups and the power of Facebook groups. And I think that's where I want to start. Before we even get into our notes of how you should actually even start, grow, and ultimately manage, we've all seen those Facebook groups that blow up and then there's just zero management. And it's like, oh gosh, like there's 60,000 people in here, but it's just freaking like
chaos.
They're posting nudes in here. Yeah, it's like, we got to get out of here. I don't want any agents joining my group from that group. But Tony, I just kind of want you to kick us off with, what are your thoughts when it comes to, or what have your experience has been when it comes to the power of a Facebook group? Obviously, we've been having some conversations behind the scenes that we're not ready to release yet or anything yet. But what is, in your opinion, what's the power of somebody either, running or being a part of, like I say, being a part of as like an admin moderator of a Facebook group?
Say the first power, I mean, if from the admin side, moderator side, formation side, it's the ability for you to gain attention. Right? And we all know attention is currency. So if you're able to put a community of people together and you're the one getting most of the eyes, then I think that's a huge part of it. The ability to get those people in there into that group that have some kind of like interest, like mind. But I think it goes beyond that. Again, back to the community aspect of it. It's one of the reasons that a lot of us like events. We go to events so that we can do what? Not so much sit in a room and listen to information come from stage, although that's valuable. We go because we want to network and we want to see our other colleagues, our friends, our comrades in the industry.
People we've met in a group.
People we've probably met in the group. Exactly.
Right.
We want to go meet them. So it's one of the same reasons that we go to a Facebook group. We go there because, hey, there's going to be a bunch of like-minded people, right? Working on the same things I'm working on, having the same struggles and successes I'm having. They can share ideas. They can help me solve problems, etc. Right? It's basically an opportunity for 24/7 mastermind. Right? That's the huge power that I see of it, from not only forming it, but also being involved in it yourself, being engaged in it.
Yep.
Right. That's why I like groups.
I think, for me, what it really started, shout out to Laura's story. If you're watching this, Laura, I appreciate you. She was one of the first agents that I got connected with that kind of opened my eyes to the power of a Facebook group, not just through referrals and obviously driving revenue and doing business together, but through relationships.
Yeah.
Me and this chick were like best buds for years. We didn't meet each other for the first time for like 3 years. And I think there's just a testament to, guys, we are living in a virtual world. I get that. And there's a lot of shitty stuff out there too. There's a lot of shitty groups. There's a lot of spam. You got to be careful with some of that stuff, right? But there's also like serious, genuine relationships that you can, get from just being, and I guess that's one thing. There's a difference between being a part of a Facebook group and actually like being a part of a Facebook group. There's a lot of crickets out there, right? Where they just kind of join a group and they just chill. So you got to be active. You got to engage. But I have made some of the best friends in the industry through Facebook groups. So again, there's a lot of potential there when it comes to relationship. Obviously, in our space, we are in a relationship-driven space. I mean, you have to have relationships. That's how we sell. It's how we collaborate. It's how we build teams. So again, just a quick little tidbit on just the power of Facebook groups, guys. If you're not in them, if you're scared to get into them, oh no, there's all a bunch of shit talking or a bunch of spam. Like, no, there's a lot of good groups out there. And shamelessly plug in the Insurance Syndicate. We spend a lot of time and effort. We're going to talk about that on the tail end of managing a group. But we spend a lot of time and effort making sure that it's only value driven in there, that people aren't getting hit with a bunch of spam and a bunch of stuff you don't want to look at first thing in the morning. So with that being said, right, how to start, grow, and manage Facebook groups. We got to start one, right? And I think before you even go to start a Facebook group, you got to know why you're starting it. This is something I actually got from Coach Burt was, man, if it's not congruent with your business model, why are you doing it? So that's my first question that I ask you is, what is your business model? Okay, so start with that. What are you doing? And this is, guys, I know that we're talking obviously to a lot of insurance folk, but this applies to all business. What is your business model and who are the people that you serve? Okay, so start there. What is your business model and who are the people that you serve? Because ultimately, whatever group that you're thinking of starting, make sure that is 100% congruent with your business model and actually makes sense. I'm not going to go start a trucking insurance group if I don't do trucking insurance, just to keep it super simple, right? I'm not going to launch an 8,000 member and continue to run an 8,000 member insurance group if I'm not in insurance and don't have value or something to get back from that, whether that's through recruiting, through referral relationships, through consultations, through courses, through podcasting. I mean, you name it, whatever, right? I'm not going to go do that if it doesn't make sense with what my actual business model is. So make sure anything that you're joining, well, before you even go to join it, before you go to start, make sure that it's congruent with your business model. And here's the number one rule, and really this is just social media in general, y'all. If it does not drive revenue to your business, stop doing it. I think there is so much timeline scrolling right now where people just get lost, especially, and I'm not even on TikTok.
The doom
right?
scroll.
It really is, though. And it's like, guys, if you're on social media and you're not using it as a business tool, you're not using it, the Facebook group, right, is not driving revenue. And I'm not to take away that, guess what? It's not easy to start one. You do have to go hard for, but you should know pretty quick whether, hey, this is going to make sense for me to continue to do this or not. So make sure it drives revenue to you, to your business, to your team, whatever it is. But if it ain't driving money, you got to stop doing it, right? Those MMAs, the money-making activities. Yeah. My last tidbit there too, when it comes to actually starting a group, and this is what I did. Obviously, again, I told you guys I admin or run, over 10 groups. I've got my largest group is a trucking group, and that one is we're about 75,000 members strong now. And we're so far behind on member. We're getting I think right now we're still 600, 700 member requests behind. And then we also, because of the type of group we do, post monitoring and everything. So we have to approve all the posts. We don't just let people post in there because if anybody's on the trucking side and you're in some of these groups, you got to be careful with what you let people post because it gets a little raunchy. But go join other groups that are similar, right? Or model kind of what you want, or, hey, yeah, man, I love this group that I'm a part of. And take that, right, and implement some of those things that you're seeing them do in those Facebook groups to make your group better, right? And so that was a big thing for me. As I went out, I was in, and still am technically, but before we even started Insurance Syndicate, I mean, I'm in a ton of other insurance groups and I pick the good stuff, right? It's just like some of the conferences people complain about. It's like, dude, you don't have to like everything that they say. Just take the nuggets. Ooh, I really like that part about that group. Okay, let's try to implement that. And this, again, this is before we've even launched because I want to know like how we're going to set this up and how, and again, it's kind of like having your GPS turned on. I want to know where I'm going before I even start this thing. Okay. So the three things there, again, this is when you're going to actually start it, before you even actually start the group, make sure it is congruent with your business model. Okay. Make sure it actually makes sense. Don't just go start up a food group if you hate cooking or if you're like allergic to everything. If it doesn't drive revenue to your business, you need to stop doing it. Give it a second. But if it doesn't start driving revenue, you need to stop doing it. And then ultimately go join other groups. It kind of goes back to like the rule of marketing, right? Like some of the best 50% of the marketer, like it's stolen stuff anyways. 50% of it's original. 50% is like, man, I really like that. I'm going to go ahead and take that and make it my own. So those are my 3 tidbits on that. Anything else that you would add when it comes to starting that?
Yeah, you said it, but I want to hit it a little harder.
Okay.
You know, you asked the question, who do you serve? Right. So who is your audience that you're trying to attract to your group? So who is the audience that is going to drive revenue for you? Right. Because again, if the group doesn't drive revenue, it's just a hobby. It's just for laughs and giggles. Right. But are we doing it to drive revenue? So again, who is the audience that can drive revenue? And then I would take it an extension further. What are some of the interests that you and that audience share that might be peripheral
Agreed.
to insurance? And I'll give an example. An agent that I met in the life insurance space, he runs a cigar group because he specializes in life insurance for cigar smokers. So he runs a group called, I think it's called the Cigar Life or something like that. All they do is they talk about cigars. He builds relationships with other guys that love cigars. He's the only insurance agent. Well, he's the only guy that's allowed to, advertise or monetize the group through his insurance sales. But that's his whole thing, is like, let me get a bunch of dudes together that all, like me, love cigars. And I'll build a whole group around cigars, and I'll talk to them about life insurance for the cigar smoker because that's his niche. That's what he specializes in. And then everything that he does secondary to that also revolves around cigars. When he meets somebody and they become buddies or they become client, etc., he'll send them cigar stuff. Right. So everything kind of revolves around that whole thing and spreads out from there. So
have events behind that.
Have events behind that. Exactly. So think again, who is your audience that will ultimately drive revenue, and what are some interests that they and you share that might be peripheral to insurance that you could start a group about and kind of hook them on that. But then obviously you're bringing them into your network so you can also talk to about insurance, because just coming forward like, hey, here's a group on all my people that want to buy life insurance. Like, you're not going to get a bunch of attendees or members in that group other than other life insurance agents. Right. So you have to think about what is some value or entertainment maybe that I can provide this group of people that will keep them engaged in my group. And then through that, I will be able to meet them, build rapport with them, find out what other problems I can solve, and introduce my actual monetary products.
Yep. I think you actually made a really good point there. So as much as I love Facebook groups and all the interaction and the relationships that you can have virtually, I think the purpose of the Facebook group, if you're going to start and really grow and create one, is to push somebody to an in-person type of event. Again, whether that's like an agent hangout that we do here, whether that's, hey man, come to Syndicate HQ and let's record some content together, right? And really take that relationship to another level, I think is also important. That's why I brought up the event piece. There's so much power to like physically getting in the room. It's pretty easy to tune into podcasts, y'all, and just put in your earbuds. Hell, half of you are probably working while you're listening to this. But like when you're leveraging the group to get in front of people as well, I think there's a lot of power to that as well. Driving people to there's something in person, even if it's just a one-on-one, if it's a whiteboard session, or it's
a Zoom call.
Yeah. Or, hey man, we bought a bunch of 8% tickets, y'all. Let's get it going like we did last year. Right. And we had the whole suite, and just, I mean, you saw it firsthand, just the relationships and honestly deals that were made in that suite, just because we got people.
Oh my goodness,
that's
right.
There.
What was it? James Whitley and
oh god, no, that was at the Airbnb, but yeah, that
That was a 3 a.m. $1 million deal those guys were working out.
Yeah.
Wow. That was awesome.
It was wild. I'll let you go through the second piece here, and then I'll kind of piggyback off that.
Creating your group. The name of your group is obviously going to be super important, right? And I'm going to go back to my buddy, Cigar Life, right? That's his. It's a perfect play on words. It's a group about cigars, but he's also selling life insurance to cigar smokers, to Cigar Life. So think about that. Like, the name of your group is important. So when we came up with the insurance syndicate, that means a group. Very simple. The word syndicate means a group of individuals or organizations combined to promote a common interest. Fits perfectly, right? It's a group of insurance agents across all lines. We all have a common interest to share, to create some transparency in the insurance industry, which has generally been very secretive, right? And very restricted, to collaborate with other people through that transparency and ultimately make an impact in the industry that is going to allow the industry to, or at least us, to feel like we made a difference in the industry. We left it a little bit better than the day we found it, at least. Right. We say disruption. Obviously, we're not trying to disrupt the insurance industry and break it all down. We're trying to disrupt it through that transparency and collaboration, right? We're trying to teach people that, hey, it's such an abundant marketplace out there. We can build relationships with our competitors, right? And collaborate with them without fear of losing our monetary piece of the marketplace. So that's kind of the concept behind it. And we came up with the syndicate. Pretty simple. It fits perfectly. Some other items like clean cover art content that's preloaded into the group. So when we started the syndicate, we made sure that we had quite a bit of content that we could go ahead and put in the group on day one. So we kind of built a little backlog. I don't remember how much that we did as far as images, pictures.
That's so much stock from Canva.
Yeah. So we had a little stock of content so that when we opened it on day one, it wasn't an empty, like, oh, wow, there's nothing happening in here. As soon as somebody came in, it already kind of looked like an established group, even on day one, right? So get ahead of the curve on your content, get your cover art, everything all set up before you start inviting people. So think of it this way. If you're going to invite people over to your Super Bowl party, you're going to clean your house and get it all ready first, right?
Hopefully.
Right? You're going to have some appetizers made, some drinks out. Like, it's going to be a welcoming invitation. So think of the same thing for your Facebook group. You want when people to arrive, like, oh, wow, this looks like a place I would want to hang out and spend some time. And then Joe has it right here, but I kind of said it, but a video. And put a video out with an explanation of the group. What's the purpose of it? Who do you want in the group? What is your mission statement? Things of that nature. Put that video out there, pin it at the top for a while so that when people come in the group, they see them. They're like, oh, wow, this is what's going on with the group. Those are the guys in charge or whatever. Set the rules of the group as well on day one. These are the expectations. This is how I expect you to behave in my group. And, well, if you don't color inside the lines, I'll just take away your crayons. Right?
Exactly.
Set those expectations up front. That way there's no confusion. Everybody knows why they're there. And in my opinion, as someone who's also in a lot of groups now, certainly not to the level this dude is, but I'm definitely in a lot of different groups, mostly in the Medicare space. Those rules are great because other people that are coming into the group, they're like, okay, there are rules. There's an expectation of behavior. This is going to be a good moderated group. It's not going to run chaotic. I don't have to be in a group where I might be subject to someone posting nudes or hate speech or just being a general asshole, things of that nature. So it raises the bar and the standards of the group, which now allows someone that got invited to it, it feels special to them, right? It feels special. Think of this from the insurance, the barrier to entry insurance, right? When someone goes to a masses of asses event where it's everybody's getting recruited, period, right? It devalues the position that they're getting recruited for versus if you're recruiting solid people one at a time, right? And you're bringing them into an atmosphere and a culture like that, it elevates the value of the position that they're applying for.
It's hilarious.
Same thing in the group.
It's hilarious when people, because one of our questions, if you're watching on my personal profile, one of our questions is, are you ready to disrupt the industry through collaboration and transparency of information shared? And it's literally a yes, no. Like, I still make you put yes or no. And they click no. And I'm like, decline. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, come on. I wanted to real quick, y'all, because we're talking about, and that it is really important. The clean cover art, if you don't create your own cover art, Facebook will have like this random generic kind of cover photo for it. Again, it doesn't separate you from the noise. There are millions of Facebook groups out there, right? So what makes yours different? There's thousands, I would assume, if maybe not thousands, but definitely hundreds of insurance Facebook groups out there. What would make Insurance Syndicate different? So keeping that super clean cut. For me, I always recommend using like actual photos. So I went back through, my events and conferences or wherever I was shaking hands or hanging out with people and just using that as the cover photo because it shows that, hey, they're real people, right? It's not some stock, AI photo or something. But to talk about having the preloaded content, again, this goes back to go join the other when you're already a part of the other groups and you see the content that they like. This is where a lot of people, I think, get held up. Man, what should I even create? What content should I put out there? That's what the other groups are for. And I tell people, man, take my stuff, man. I don't care. Right. And so you get ideas from that. But then it's in order to really, and it's so simple, y'all, go to Canva. Obviously, most of y'all know Canva. I spend so much time in there. It's a free tool. Literally, you can clean up your content. You can create overlays like we have here on this show. But it's a super easy tool to use. It's free. And it helps you kind of, either create better images that, or if you want to put videos together, you can actually do videos through there. And then even we're talking about the cover art. You can actually change the template so that it fits. So you're not like posting a photo that is totally zoomed out and people can't even see it. So use Canva. It's a free tool. So when you're going to actually start build out that content, and they have templates in there. So you can type like, hey, I'm trying to do a marketing post. Just type marketing and they'll have a marketing template that you can go in and edit and make yourself.
Yeah, they have AI generated content in there now.
Yep.
If you can't find the template you want, describe it. Let AI build it for you.
Yep. But yeah, creating a group, guys, it's as simple as that. And I don't know if I need to do this, but like if you need to like create a group, just hit the group tab on the left-hand side and then hit create group. And then that's how you start. Okay. But the name matters, and make sure you preload it and make it a little bit clean cut, separate yourself from all the other ones. Okay. Now here's to the hardest part. I think this is where I see all Facebook groups fall off is that I think it's when you're super passionate about it, like even in Insurance Syndicate. I mean, we grew over 1,000 members like in the first month, I think, because we were just pushing like crazy.
Super fast.
We were going hard, right? So we were growing the group. That's the next piece that we're getting into, y'all. How to actually grow a group. Okay, I know the type of group that I want to start. Okay, I've got my content, my preloaded, whatever. I've got the actual group created. I've got my prereqs kind of done. I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, how do I actually grow this thing? And again, this is where I think I see the most people fall off, but that's why this is the longest section that we're going to talk about, because it isn't easy. Anything that you guys are hearing from me, at least for right now, it doesn't cost you a dime other than time. That's my whole saying. It's what I believe in. Everything that I'm talking about is all organic. Okay. We're not spending any money, building these groups or creating the groups or buying a member, right? I know there's ways that you can do that. It's all organic. Okay. So this is how you organically grow a Facebook group. And I'll get into some of these, and then Tony will kind of kick back and forth on these, just because I know obviously we've been growing this group now for years, which is crazy to think. It's crazy to think that even Winning on Wednesday is over 2 years old.
Yeah.
But y'all getting into growing a group. What you got?
I want to interrupt you for a second. Is there any value in buying a member?
No.
Right.
Nope.
I would expect that answer because I feel like all that does is dilute the quality of the members.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sure. It's a nice vanity metric to have. It's like people buying Instagram followers. Great. You look like you're well followed, but you're diluting the value of the group if you're purchasing members. Right. We haven't run any ads to grow the group. That's certainly a way, but buying members, that's a terrible idea.
Perfect example. Jackie Stoller. I think that's how you say her last name.
Jackie Laser.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry. My bad, Jackie. She just posted something on her Facebook this morning where she's like, I posted in a life insurance group. I need final expense leads. Like, who can help? The group is 126,000 people strong. Not a single comment or response.
Wow.
And it's just it's a dead group at that point, right? Because the members aren't actually there to contribute or engage or anything. So great example. Yeah, when you're buying it, it really dilutes the power of the group for sure. So first things first, right? When you're going to grow a group, add everyone in the group from your friends list that may find value in it. And again, we're talking, I know obviously, I have an insurance group, but then it's also, for truckers. Now, again, this is kind of getting into some of the strategies I use on my personal profile. But if I'm going out and I'm in all these other Facebook groups, I actually friend a lot of the truckers that I talk with or quote, because I want them seeing my stuff, right? I want them knowing that I'm real. And it's like, well, shoot, if I'm starting a trucking group and I got a bunch of friends on my friends list that are truckers, dude, go and invite them to your trucking group, right? They're already on your friends list. They already see your stuff. Hopefully they're already kind of in some form or fashion supporting you or your business, or maybe even just giving you some engagement, which is fine too. But add everyone to your group from your friends list that may find value in your group. And that's super simple, y'all. Just cruise through, you hit the invite button on the group, and then you just start going through your friends list. Not to say that you got to spam the shit out of your friends list and like join my group or I'm unfriending you. But that's a very easy way to drive early traction, and they're already your friends. So you're probably going to get more engagement, more support from them in the early stages of the group when you're building it up and you're commenting, right? You want people to be as engaged as they can, as early on as they can, so that you start getting that out Facebook algorithm like, oh, okay, people are liking this. We need to show this to more people. Here is another great strategy. That not a lot of people know this.
I like this one.
And sometimes I will say I have seen in some cases where for whatever reason it was not a feature for somebody's Facebook group. For the most part, though, I feel like everybody should have this feature now. And I don't know if it was like a certain member thing or what. For whatever reason, this guy, like, he just didn't have this tab when he goes to invite people. But this is what I call basically mining other Facebook groups. Okay. So just like how we were talking, when you go join all these other Facebook groups that you like, right? You don't have to like everything, but you're in there for a reason, right? Or if you've gotten referrals from it or relationships, whatever. You can actually go to, so this is within your group. Okay. And then you're going to go, there's a little tab and you're going to hit groups. It's called, it's groups in common. So it's just groups in common. And then literally you can click on that and then go select the group. And I shout out Justin Brock. I love you, brother, but I do it if I need more Medicare agents because he's got a large Medicare group. And I know that he values that group. And there's not a lot of spam or people, BSing in there every once in a while. And then they get the boot, right? But say, hey, I want to add a few more Medicare members. And this is just an example. There's a ton of other groups out there, but I'm just saying it because of Justin and Medicare Con's coming up next week, I believe. But literally I'll go and I'll just hit groups and I'll hit Medicare Monsters. And then even though they're not on my friends list, because we are common members of the group, I can now invite them to my group. So anytime I'm doing social media training with people, I tell them, like, don't go and spam, hey, man, come join my group. Like if I'm in all these other insurance groups and I'm like, hey, guys, I started the insurance syndicate. Screw this group. Come over to mine. I'm booted. I lose access to all of those members, right? I lose access to really just that entire group. You don't have to go and trash somebody else's group or spam their group. They've put in the blood, sweat, and tears to grow it as well. It's probably why you're in it and why you want their members. But there's strategic ways to go about it. So again, when you go to invite, hit groups in common, and then you can actually, I call it group mining. You can literally go and add members that you are not actually personal friends with, which again, just gives you more of an audience. And if I'm trying to target a Medicare audience, I know if I'm getting them from a Medicare group, that's my audience, right? I'm not going to some random group trying to fish like, oh man, I hope there's some insurance agents in this cooking, group or whatever. So again, that is a very easy way to start inviting people to the group. Post at least, this is where I definitely see people fall off. And this it was time consuming, but I knew I had to do it. And if y'all go back to when Insurance Syndicate first started, you'll see it. I was posting like freaking crazy. I already had my preloaded content. And then my recommendation would be to post at least 4 times a day in the group for the first month to drive the initial engagement. It's a month, okay, which in the grand scheme of things is not that long. But man, I'm telling you, if you can get to 4 a day, and I would do 2 static and 2 videos if you can, if maybe 3 static images or whatever, post. Again, all value driven. We'll talk a little bit about that. But ultimately, try and get as much video in there as you can, because that is the most powerful way to market and to show people who you are, what the group's about, all that good stuff. Okay. So try to post at least 4 times a day in the group for the first month to drive the initial engagement. Hey, the Easton hat. Yes, sir. You know it, man. Actually, did you hear my weekly win, dude? I hit a double to win the game last night, Victor. Appreciate you, bro. But post at least 4 times a day in the group for the first month to drive that engagement. Okay. And then here's the other one. Post on your personal profile to get the word out. Don't be Elle and David Denning talk about this all the time, is don't be a secret agent. How many times do you see it, Tony, where and they've been in Medicare however long, right? And then nowhere on their personal profile or anywhere does it say that they can actually help anybody with Medicare. Okay. Right. So actually post on your personal profile to help get the word out. And again, for me, it definitely helped when I'm going to, again, start a trucking group or start an insurance group, because my audience and what I use Facebook for to drive revenue is insurance people for the most part, right? And then any type of clients or ideal client for me that is on that list. Or maybe it's a bunch of real estate agents or whatever that might be. So again, post on your personal profile to get the word out. Don't be scared. Don't be a secret agent. Maybe you only get 5 new members from it. Whatever. Hey, 5 new members is better than no new members. Okay. So post on your personal profile to get the word out. And I just hinted on this one, but do not go spam the shit out of somebody else's group trying to get members. It will ultimately hurt your group. Even if maybe you have a valuable group and a valuable mission statement, and like you're really trying to impact and make a difference, you going and just, basically freaking raining on somebody else's parade does nothing but hurt your group. So
it's unethical too. Let's be honest, right? It's unethical, right?
Yep.
Somebody else took the time to put that group together. They put the time and the energy and started to build their community. And then you just walk in and shit on it basically and say, hey, everybody come join my group. It's an exodus. Let's go. Like, it's not going to work. Very few, if any, people that have value are going to follow you. And then number 2, the guy that runs the group is just going to boot you.
Yep.
Period. Right. And so you end up losing long-term because now you, just like Joe said, you lose access to that group to be able to go and mine it and find valuable people to bring over to your side. You'll ignore that. Absolutely.
That you will, Alex. That you will. Thanks for hopping on, brother. Appreciate you. Next one here. We talk about it. And this is, so again, we've started to grow the group. You've started to grow the audience. Okay. You know that it's congruent with your business model, everything that we've just covered here. But here's kind of maybe to take your group to another level or to make it make sense for you when it comes to driving revenue, is actually a preferred vendor list and sponsorship packages to promote other businesses. Again, you go back to the definition of my group, and I get some people are against this when it comes to promoting other bit. Like, no, it's only going to be my stuff. Like, we're only going to talk, like, they don't like the other parties coming in and promoting their stuff. But for me, it's like, well, no, but based off of our definition as a group of individuals or organizations combined to promote some common interest, if I find something of value, whether I use them or not, but I know that this could help insurance agents, then absolutely, man, you can hop on the preferred vendor list. And it goes back to what makes your group different. Okay, it's like, well, I do have a preferred vendor list that goes out on every new member welcome post as well as lives in the group. All you have to do, if you're watching in the Insurance Syndicate, and if you haven't seen it, just type preferred vendor list. And it is like a huge list of all these companies, organizations, maybe individuals that, I personally know or have talked with or personally use. And to Tony's point is what, like, I've used them, I use their services. But there's a whole list helping promote other people's businesses. So then, hey, guess what? Don't you think they're probably going to want to do something in return, right? Maybe a favor or two, or maybe there's an affiliate program out there where, hey, because I'm helping promote them business, now I can become an affiliate of that, and now I can drive revenue that way, which again now makes more sense because I'm driving revenue, and that's the number one goal. But having that preferred vendor list and then ultimately sponsorship packages, if you're growing the group and you're doing a good job of running the group, and you have that value, there's potential for people like, hey, who put it in the comments if you don't know who Viva Virtual Solutions is, please. Like, I'm going to boot you if you do, but like, everybody knows who Viva is and who Rob Lopez is and who Lily Davies is behind the scenes running our show. Right. And it's all it is because we have them as the main sponsor of, and again, I know that we're doing a podcast, but you can have a sponsor of a group as well. Or maybe, certain days, or, hey, would you just have certain days that yet the sponsor can post. Okay, so there's multiple ways to have a sponsorship package, but it's another way to drive additional revenue, maybe to the admin or the creator of the group. But it's also a great opportunity for these other companies to get in front of people that wouldn't otherwise know who they were, which is the other power of Facebook groups is you don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
Right. So then us as sitting in that leadership role is, man, I want to help agents get in front of the right tools, the right people, the right leads, whatever it is, especially the right leads. Because there's 1,000 freaking lead vendors out there, and 50% of them freaking suck. So
I'd say more than that.
Yeah, it's like I want to
90-10 rule for sure.
Yeah, and it's like, well, and that probably ultimately comes from our experiences. Like, man, just don't do what I did. Don't lose $5,000 trying to figure out trucking leads when, hey, just do it like this. Yeah. Before you got something on that?
Yeah, obviously the way Joe just described it, right, definitely applies in a business to business setting. Right. And it's easy to look at that and go, well, that's business to business. I get it. This can still be done in a group if your audience is consumers. Right. Yes. If you're building the cigar life or whatever it is. I don't know if he has a preferred vendor list, but he could easily have a list of great cigars, places to get those cigars at a good price. Like he could have a list of like, these are great areas to find other resources. Let's say, for example, you had a consumer group for Medicare folks, people that are turning 65. And maybe the group's not about Medicare. The group is about something else that's attractive to that audience still, right? So that you can bring them in and get them on the hook. But you could easily have resources for how to solve certain problems or how to find certain things that that group still needs, right? So anytime you can, so again, it's think of it, it's simple. It's value add, right? How can I add value? What is information that those people want? Obviously, we have a preferred vendor list because agents are always looking for vendors to work with. They're looking for where to buy the right leads. They're looking for where to get the right CRMs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we vetted all that. You can easily do the same thing in a consumer setting. It's just going to be a little different. You're not going to try to sell them leads and CRMs and those things. You're trying to point them in the direction where they might find additional value to solve some of the things that the group is about, if that makes sense.
So I have a really good idea. Nobody's done it yet. And I was actually, who was I helping with this? It was a Medicare agent. So if you're a Medicare agent, you can take it and run with it. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I already have too many groups.
You realize there's one sitting next to you,
yeah,
right?
I know.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Well, you can take it too.
I've got my pen
You can
ready.
take it
I'm
too.
waiting.
So for Medicare, a lot of people are like, well, none of my clients are that active on Facebook. I was like, well, but guess who is? Their kids. So create a Facebook group basically for people whose parents are aging in. So it's just a resource that, hey, they don't really know what they're doing. I don't 100% know either. And then there's just a free forum for them to be able to go and help their parents get taken care of.
Kids of Medicare?
Kids of Medicare, exactly. Something along those lines. I thought that was pretty good because they're active, right? Yeah. And a lot of them are put in that position that they have to help, mom or dad get that done. So just
Facebook marketing keeps telling me to start opening my ad audience to people that are 45 and up because those people have
helping
parents. And I'm like, I still haven't bought into that thought process yet because every time I've tried it, my lead cost just goes up. I'm not sure if the people at Facebook marketing know what they're talking about, but we may try it on some other ads for sure.
Yep. But Brian, he said, run with that. Well, Tony literally just hit on this, y'all. Lead with either value or education when it comes to anything that you're posting. Again, do not make it super spammy. Don't make it super solicity, like a bunch of solicitation. And for me, again, I think we've done a pretty good job with that. There are some posts that we'll put out there where it is specific to promotion or whatever, but it's because what we're promoting is of value or you are going to be educated by, again, coming to an 8% conference or something like that. So if we believe in that, it may not come off as value, but you're going to get value from it. It's why we're promoting it. So always lead with either value or education. It's so funny how often we have to repeat ourselves when it comes to that. It's almost cliche because we all say it, lead with value and education, right? And the rest will follow. And it's like, why are we still saying it? It's like, because there's so many people not leading with, and it's so simple. It's value and education. And if it's not of that, then just don't post it. Better get a little bit more creative. Find something that is going to be valuable to the people watching your stuff or looking at your stuff or commenting, whatever. And then here's actually this is a pro tip here for y'all. And I don't know why. One, it pisses me off that Facebook, I love you, but it pisses me off that they don't automatically have this setting turned on. But when you're actually in the group, you go to your settings and Facebook, it's right at the bottom of your settings. And you can actually have Facebook recommend your group to people who are in other similar like-kind, whatever groups. So there is it's a little button and it just literally says, do you want Facebook to recommend your group to others? Put that on. It helps with the algorithm and just organic growth. People that you're not maybe necessarily that are not in your audience or friends list. Make sure and have that turned on so that you can get more of that organic growth.
Now I understand why I'm in about 4 different Seinfeld groups. I joined one Seinfeld group, and the next thing you know, Facebook is like, hey, check out all these other Seinfeld groups.
That's actually hilarious. Seinfeld. And that, oh my gosh, I have to say it though. If that ain't the freaking testament to it, man, there's Facebook groups for Seinfeld. One of my Facebook groups I'm in, you guys have heard me talk about it. It's You Don't Eat McChickens Enough.
Yeah.
So they rebranded to the Big Bass or Big Billy Bass Mouth Club, like the bass that used to hang up on the wall.
Yeah.
Yo, it's like a crazy active group. And there's like a revolt going on in it now because they're like, change the name back, bring back the McChicken, the one sandwich. It's like there's a Facebook group for everything. And that you wouldn't think that would be something of engagement, but hey, maybe it's not like I wouldn't call it like educational, but
Oh no,
maybe
it's all entertainment.
Exactly, an entertainment.
There's no
and it's
value in those Seinfeld groups other than laughing about all the one-liners and jokes and memories of the show that we all like.
But couldn't you spin it with, well, there is value in splitting up your day or having those memories and enjoying that, or man, I needed that laugh, man.
Yeah.
And that's why people are part of the group.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Because they're there for the entertainment. They're there for the comic relief, so
Mhm.
to speak, and to joke with some like-minded people. I'd love to see how those dudes that run, because those Seinfeld groups, I'll tell you, at least 2 of them are highly active. And I mean extremely active. Every post gets thanks, Facebook user. Every Facebook post gets 100 to 200 to 300 comments. I mean, they're super active. But how would they're not doing, you can tell the dude's not doing anything to try to monetize that. He's just having fun. At least that's what I see so far. Right. I haven't seen them come through and try to offer any kind of way to generate some revenue or something. It seems like he's just there to generate the laughs. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to slide into my DM someday with some kind of offer about Seinfeld. I don't know.
Or maybe he's just building the group up, and then at some point in time, there's going to be something that comes like, holy shit, I didn't know I could actually do that. Also, y'all, you can also sell groups. We won't get into that today, but there was just a Facebook group that was up for sale for $15,000 a couple weeks ago. It was a trucking insurance group. So, well, not even an insurance group. It's just a trucker group, insurance agent trying to sell it. So, okay. So last bit here, y'all, and then we'll wrap up. It's managing a group. Okay, so we know what the group is. We've got our clear mission statement, our clear vision. Okay, we've actually created the group and kind of got it preloaded. We're posting a ton. We're growing it. We're adding people. We're allowing Facebook to recommend it to other people. Now we have to manage it. And so I actually, a lot of people don't know this. I actually started Insurance Syndicate by myself because it was classic Joe. One night, I just like, dude, the Insurance Syndicate. And by the next morning, I had all the content worked up. I'm like, I'm creating this freaking thing, dude. And we're going to disrupt the industry by putting everybody together. And that was honestly because of how many events I'd gone to. I'm like, dude, why are we all not doing this together? Like, there's no reason that we shouldn't be. That was extremely freaking difficult, starting that thing up and just keeping up with the comments and also adding people and driving people and working my day to day. Like, I'm not just a Facebook guy. Now, Facebook gives me a lot when it comes to my business, but still, like, guys, I have a lot that I have to do in my day. It's not easy. Don't do it alone. And I'll say that again. Don't do it alone. I wish I would have brought in, and now granted, I brought in Tony very quickly. I think within the first 3 months, maybe if not
probably
the
a little
first
faster
couple
than
months.
That,
yeah.
Because I know I was keeping it busy because I was just recruiting for the group.
Just adding.
I was like, I don't know what to say in this group yet. I'm not really sure how this works. I'm brand new old guy in this thing. So I'm like, whatever, I'll come in and hang out and see what Joe's doing. Sounds like a great idea. Which is mostly what Joe has, are great ideas. So I jumped in and just immediately started inviting people to the group and trying to get membership in there and started talking about it. I started talking on my personal page about it, like, hey, come join us over there if you're an insurance agent. I started calling it the fastest growing insurance group on Facebook, period, which was, in my opinion, was probably true.
We were growing
and even if it wasn't, didn't matter. But it was because it blew up super quick. So I remember watching Joe pull his hair out trying to keep up with content moderation and admin stuff while I was just pulling people into the group left and right. Like, get them in here, get them in here, get them in here as fast as I could.
But yeah, definitely don't try to do it alone. It is very difficult. If you're doing it the right way, it is difficult. It can become very time consuming. And you guys know it. If you want to run, that's one of my favorite sayings. If you want to run fast, do it alone. You want to run far, do it with others, right? And the mission statement behind Syndicate is not to just do this thing real quick and get out, right? Like, we're trying to change the industry and make an impact, leave it better than when we started. But don't try to do it alone. Find other admins, moderators, and then group experts. You would be very surprised with what those badges. Now, moderators have definitely a little bit more power when it comes to a group expert. Group expert is just a badge, but man, it really gives them some validation and credibility when commenting in the group. So if they're helping you with moderation, or if they're helping answer questions or whatever in the group itself, have other admins. Now, Tony's the only other admin within Syndicate. So we are just the 2 admins there. And then we have moderators that are helping us moderate the group. Shout out to Christian Garner. If you guys don't know Christian, hit him up, follow him. The other power of Facebook group, right? Christian's about to get some Facebook requests. Maybe there's some synergy, some referrals. But dude, the guy's a crazy freaking beast on the moderation side, where he's approving posts, he's taking down posts. And you can see it all where he's not necessarily telling us all that he's doing, but you can see it in the activity log. Like, man, this dude is really helping us not just grow, but maintain the group. It is difficult to maintain the group at the rapid pace that we grow. So shout out to Christian Garner, brother. I appreciate you. But ultimately, the biggest thing when you're going to add admins and moderators and group experts, make sure they actually believe in the mission statement behind the group. They're not just leveraging that badge or that title for their own gain or their own benefit. Should they potentially benefit from it? Absolutely. But it should not be to like manipulate the group or take advantage of the members or the email list. We're not necessarily getting into the strategies of like how to really work a group, guys. We're just talking about how to create, grow, and manage it. Maybe we'll do a part 2 where we talk about, the email list and the other things that we're doing with it. But again, have other people around you supporting the group, doing it with you, that ultimately believe in why you're doing it. I'll hit this one just real quick, and then I'll let you kind of wrap it up, Tony. But you actually already touched on this one earlier. Set parameters and rules within the group. Okay, do that right out the gate and make it very freaking clear. This is what this thing is. What other groups do you have? Any ideas for prospects?
Dude, he's got the insurance syndicate, the sales syndicate, the trucking syndicate, the acquisition syndicate, the gaming syndicate,
the annuity syndicate. Yeah. I'm in like 200 and something plus Facebook groups. So, but Facebook user, click the link in the description so I can actually see who you are. And I'd be more than happy to have any Q&A on the show here with you now. But let me know what line of business that you're in and kind of what your ideas are. And if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, maybe catch that too. That might help provide some insights. But set parameters and rules within the group. If they do not follow them, then they can't stay in the group. I don't care if you're friends. I've banned people I know from Syndicate, man, because it was like, I'm just tired of it, man. Like, this is not what this group is about. I'm sorry. I like you. You're a good person, but this is not what this group is for. So in that situation, yeah, you just can't come back. And you boot them, and then you just block their future profile so they can't slip back in. But again, guys, it's very simple. They don't follow the rules. Don't cater to them. Don't let it slide. Some groups you can do, give them a warning. Like for me, it's, man, they join. They already know what this group is because of the work that we put into letting them know, hey, here is what it is when you come to join this. So that first post, man, I'm not doing a warning. Like, nope, sorry, you missed your shot, because that's not what we're about. So make sure they follow the rules. And then I'll let you kind of wrap up here on this, Tony.
Yeah. Again, stay consistent on that. Don't let people spam the group. Right. We already talked about this earlier, like paying for members just dilutes the value of the membership overall, the value of the community. So same thing, like when other people get in the group, like don't just let them spam it with bizarre offers and shitty deals or just overloads of memes and just trash. Like,
or a fake person
or just a fake person altogether. Like don't let the fake bots in there. And dude, they are all over Facebook trying to get in our groups. Personally, I think Facebook may have been hacked again recently because the level of bots that are invading my business page, my business messenger, and what I'm seeing in some of the group requests and my personal page, out of control. And they are getting better and better. If you guys haven't noticed, it used to be someone would comment on something on a post and it was extremely obvious that they were fake, right? It's usually an Asian picture of somebody and or a Forex trader, something weird. And they have very limited information on their profile. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a bot.
Yeah.
Period. Now they're getting savvy and they're starting to create bots that are like, oh, this person is interested in insurance and golf and poker and these things. Well, let's create a profile that has some of those items. Most of the people in this friends list look like this. So let's make the character look like that. And then they come in and they start commenting. And you look, you're like, oh, there's some stuff. And you're like, wait a second. So be aware. And they're going to come for your group too. Like they will come in and try to invite themselves into your group. You got to keep them out of there.
And then literally they'll try to join the group, and then you'll get a friend request, and then they'll follow you on LinkedIn as well. And then they'll send you a messenger and say, do you want my leads?
Yes, exactly. Or whatever.
It's like, my Lord, even LinkedIn, they got me. Jeez.
Yes. But the more people, the final statement that Joe's got written down here is that the more people know who you are as the admin, the better. You want everybody to know that you're the ones running the group, right? You want them to know who you are, what you do, what you're about. So let them know who's running the show, but also, be engaging in the group, right? With the same level that you expect from them, right? You're kind of in the trenches, so to speak, together, right? You're asking some of the same type of questions that they might be asking in the group to get value. You're providing the value for the questions that they're asking to get out of the group. So don't just build the group and then like, hey, I'm the admin, deuces. Like, be the admin, but be involved and be engaged in the group constantly.
Yep.
Right. Because you are the group leader and they want to see you there. You're the whole purpose they showed up for the group in the first place. So be active, be present, and definitely be right in front of them at all times.
And to give y'all an example of that, right? Like, obviously we're in the insurance space. So like when I'm going live or I'm posting stuff in Insurance Syndicate, it's like, hey, I'm on the phones too. I'm running an agency. We have an aggregator side. I'm recruiting. Like, we're contracts, all that good stuff, right? So that's easy for me. But I wanted to give a shout out to Michael Overstreet, because I think this is another great example of how to be in the trenches, but you're not necessarily setting up dial rooms and, live dialing to show everybody you still got it, right? He's the garden nerd. If you guys haven't checked him out, go check it out on YouTube. Guy's got like thousands and thousands of subscribers, and it's amazing content, very well put together. But when he started it, I think this, again, is a way to show that he's in the trenches. Is a lot of his content is him actually in his garden. He shows his garden. He is gardening himself. So then when he's speaking to an audience of gardeners, they see that, oh, he's not just bullshitting, or he's not just taking some articles online and saying this works. It's like, no, like, I'm doing this myself. Check out the results here. And not just check out the results. It goes back to what I said, y'all. Video is freaking king right now. And when he can sit there and take videos of himself, maybe it's a time lapse in his garden to literally show plants growing. And I just wanted to give that example because he does an amazing job with it. And it just shows how many different groups you can make, right? And then obviously he's got it backed up by YouTube channel and stuff now, which, again, maybe we'll do a part 2, because I think there's a couple different ways that we could kind of spin off of just, okay, we've got the group, we've got the audience, we've got the members. Now it's like, man, there's a lot of things that we can do now.
Yeah. What do we do next?
Right. What do we do next? And so we've got a lot that's actually coming up next for y'all. Again, we're not ready to release it yet, but we are excited. You're going to see some really cool things starting to happen here within the Insurance Syndicate. So, again, y'all, with that being said, that is just kind of our 2 cents. And really, I say my 2 cents, my experience. I've been building Facebook groups and being in Facebook groups for probably 10 years now, as long as I've been in insurance. So they do work. And this, again, if you're catching the replay, or if you stayed with us till the end, we appreciate you. But it's how to start, grow, and ultimately manage a successful Facebook group. So thank you guys for being here. Go ahead and close us out, Mr. Merwin. You got any final statements for them all?
This is good stuff. Victor threw up a comment a little bit ago in regards to public speaking. He would like to see us do some kind of training on that. Called us the goats of the stage. Thank you, Victor. Appreciate you.
I'll take that.
I'm definitely down. I'm already working on putting that together in some other capacities, but would definitely be happy to bring it here. But man, this is all good stuff, right? You have to, I think the key to understanding this, and maybe why it's something that you want to do and you should do, is it's getting harder and harder to generate leads in the insurance space, right? Not necessarily to generate them, but to buy them, certainly. Lead costs are going up massively next year. If you don't believe me, well, then just wait and you'll see the new lead prices in 2025.
Tony was right.
Everything is now going on a one-to-one basis. So these lead vendors are going to have to charge a much higher price for the leads that they develop in order for them to be profitable and still bring you a good lead of any sort. So you're going to see lead costs going up. You're going to see marketing expenses going up. This is a great way to organically get traffic, get eyes, get attention, because again, as I say it all the time, what is attention? Attention is currency, right? So something like this, if you can do it right, do it with the right value to the right audience that's congruent with your business, can help you generate leads, referrals, and relationships that you're not going to get elsewhere.
Yep.
That's the real money that's in this. So if you're in a space and you're like, man, I really think that I can create a group to generate some leads and get me the attention, then go do it and follow some of these guidelines. So with that said, man, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we love y'all. We appreciate you. And again, as Joe kind of alluded, we got some big stuff coming. So excited. Thanks for being part of our group. Thanks for tuning in. We do this thing every Wednesday.
Winning on Wednesday, baby.
Absolutely.
It's the peak of the week. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. We appreciate you guys. And hey, don't try to do it alone. That applies to just everything in business outside of Facebook groups. Don't try to do it alone, right? Takes a tribe. We appreciate you guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your week. We will catch y'all on the flip side. Thanks, guys. Later.